Well, all right. We saw quite the day yesterday. Plenty of events. I figured I should make a video breaking them down. Unfortunately, I was a little late on this stuff due to the fact that I was, I was enjoying my Saturday doing stuff. I saw Dune 2. I'll have a review of that on my movie channel, which you can click on the link in the description if you want to check that stuff out. But so get that plug out of the way right away. But let's talk about the craziness that happened. I also should mention at the top of this that I will be doing this stuff for, once free agency starts on Monday. I won't be away. I will be here. So anytime a news story breaks, check out this channel. Though, maybe there'll be a video on it before you even realize the news story had happened. So check that out. But yeah, really three big events. Let's start off chronologically. Let's go to the Chris Jones. That's the big signing. That's the big deal. Let's do that one first. As Chris Jones, they re-sign him. The Chiefs do get him. I didn't know if this was going to happen. I really didn't. In fact, I think if you told me before this season, is Chris Jones going to remain in Kansas City for a while, I would have leaned towards no. Here's part of why this worked was the Chiefs had the ability to franchise tag him. So anytime you have that, there is that threat. At the same time, though, he still became the highest paid defensive tackle of all time. 5 years worth, $160 million guaranteed. So that's, for you math fans, that's about $32 million a year. So he's the second highest paid non-quarterback of all time. $95 million of this is guaranteed, and it's a bit surprising given the fact that, they did not give Tyreek Hill this deal, right? Tyreek Hill wanted a kind of a similar deal. Granted, salary cap's gone up since then, so $30 million a few years ago is more than $30 million now, but still, it's essentially a similar deal. They, said no, and I wonder if part of it is they know that Mahomes can make the offense work even without an elite guy like Tyreek Hill. Maybe they're not so confident with the defense, or maybe they just feel like, hey, we have the cap space. Why wouldn't we make this deal? Which is probably fair enough. So Chris Jones remains in Kansas City, and again, I think you can have the argument of, is it worth paying one defensive lineman that much money, or should you try to spread the wealth and try to just focus on depth? Well, they have depth, so why not spend the money on a star? I think this is probably the right move, and I'm someone who's usually a little bit stingy on these big defensive lineman contracts. I think that it's not always the best strategy, but here, again, Chris Jones is probably the best defensive tackle in the league right now, right? Like, I think once Aaron Donald's kind of taken a step back, Jones has probably passed him by. He's an amazing player. He'll be a Hall of Famer. So, keep the guy in the building. I understand it. I think it's a good move. At the end of the day, for Kansas City, no one you were going to get in free agency would replace the value of Jones. So keep Jones in the building. I think it's totally. More I'm talking about it, it's totally the right move. I think that's definitely what they should have done. And for Chris Jones, what a win, right? Kind of having to decide, do I want to chase the bag or do I want to stay in Kansas City and keep trying to win Super Bowls? The fact that he gets both is pretty great for him. So, well done. Maybe he could have gotten a little bit more if he went to, Jacksonville or Washington or whatever. But, I'm sure when you're getting $160 million, you feel okay about it. So, the other two, we had a couple trades happen. Jeudy was traded for a 5th and a 6th round pick to the Cleveland Browns. So that's pick 135 and 202 respectively. And I think a lot of people were surprised that was all it was, a 5th and a 6th round pick. That feels very low. Well, for one thing, keep in mind, I think the league values a 5th and a 6th round pick more than maybe your average Madden player does, so that is worth noting. But still, it's not a lot of value, but you have to remember what Jeudy currently is. So, you could sit here and say, well, he's on his rookie deal, like he's young, isn't that more value? Well, so he's getting $13 million this year due to being on his 5th-year option. So, because he was a first-round pick, right? So, and that's why you get the 5th-year option. So, it's actually not quite the cheap deal that you might think, and then he's a free agent after this year. So it's essentially a 1-year rental that isn't even really that cheap, and and it's fully guaranteed because it's the 5th-year option. So that's the reason why it's just not more capital for it. That being said, I think it's a good move for Cleveland. The free agent receivers always look exciting until all the top guys get re-signed by their current teams. So contracts are going to go crazy in free agency, you have to think. And to get a player of Jerry Jeudy's caliber, he probably would have gotten a lot more than that had they gone out and gotten a guy in free agency. I think it's a good move by them, even if maybe it's not the absolute slam dunk. You could see some people saying it is, just because, again, contracts matter. Every time there's a move that you see, hey, why did that happen that way? Well, you have to think, well, usually the contract is a factor there. So, yeah. The other trade, Mac Jones traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars for pick 192. That's a 6th round pick. That was the other kind of big piece of news, which was, I think, a surprise. I wasn't surprised that Jones got traded. And in fact, I thought that Jones might even, go to the Patriots and kind of say, hey, can we maybe just give me a new situation? Let's see how that goes. I think kind of is helpful for everybody if he, goes somewhere else and maybe can thrive there. Maybe he can't, but at least it's one of those things where you had a good year in New England. He was good as a rookie, so maybe he can replicate that in a good situation. Jacksonville is an interesting one because why do the Jaguars are purely doing this for hey, let's get a backup quarterback, right? I imagine they won't be picking up his 5th-year option. So this is kind of we'll get him on his rookie deal, which is still kind of more of a, I don't want to say pricey for a backup quarterback, but it's, backup quarterback money if you're a 1st-round pick for sure. So it's not like you're getting a steal or anything, but maybe they just trust Jones can be a solid backup quarterback, and we saw Lawrence got injured last year, and I think a lot of times it was, when I saw Lawrence, it was nothing's getting open, so he's trying to scramble, and when he's trying to scramble, he's taking more hits, and then, also the offensive line had his issues that we all know about, so that was kind of the bigger reason he was getting banged up, so maybe work on that instead of work on the backup quarterback, but it's a 6th-round pick. I don't really think it's bad value for a 6th-round pick. I'm just kind of weird. I'm confused about the team, I guess, because you would have thought, Carolina should do this in case Bryce Young isn't good next year. You have a plan B, right? That's kind of the way that I viewed it. Of a team that's quarterback needy, maybe goes, which New England could fit that bill, right? Maybe you just keep him as a backup. But again, I think that he wanted to go somewhere else. So an interesting move there. Only a couple other kind of smaller moves. Fletcher Cox is retired. The Jets also bring back Chuck Clark. So and there were a couple other small, like Tyler Lockett got a 1-year extension to kind of save money on the cap right now. So that's what happened. But yeah, interesting day. And as I mentioned earlier, but I'll mention it again here. So Monday at noon, the legal tampering period begins. So that's when there's going to be a lot of news stories that break, all that good stuff. So, just check out this channel. Keep this channel open in a tab. I will be trying to recap everything that happens. I'll also have kind of a full recap at the end of the day to kind of talk about everything that, transpired. There's going to be some crazy trades. We're going to have, some that we say, wow, that player is exactly what that team needs. And we'll, ultimately have some that we say, what is the team doing spending that kind of money, on that player, right? So, should be a lot of fun. But yeah, those are my thoughts on all of this. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.